everyone, CCLI Guy 2012 here. First video I've done on camera properly for a while. I've had work, college, university, all other commitments that have kind of got in the way, and I've moved house twice, so that's going to delay things a bit. So I thought one thing I'd start with, still got some time during the lockdown, like everyone does. I'm going to start with a PC upgrade, which is kind of heart of the channel and a very important thing to me, because as people who may know me, I'm a bit of a gamer as well as a trained nerd. So, going to be upgrading my PC. It's the same PC that you would have seen in my GTX 1060 upgrade video that I did, where it's brand new case. And I switched the case out about 2 weeks after that video. But the GPU is fine, power supply is fine, but the CPU and motherboard are very old at this point. PC is about 5 years old, I think, in total. So CPU, motherboard and RAM are all going to be changed out, and that's what I'm going to be doing in this video today. So without further ado, I'll get on to showing you around the case and get on with the actual replacement. Okay, see you in a sec. Okay, so I've got the side of the case open now and I've got the camera readjusted thanks to my camera woman. Alright, so graphics card or GPU, that's going to be staying, as I said, in the upgrade. I've got a quite beefy CPU cooler here, and that's on top of an AMD A6 6600K. That's going to be the main thing to be upgraded. One of the main reasons I'm upgrading is an APU rather than a CPU, which means that not all the processor is actually being used most of the time because I've got a discrete graphics card. So that's going to be going. It only supports DDR3 RAM, and the new CPU supports DDR4, so the RAM's going to be going as well, and as well as the motherboards, because it's a motherboard designed for an APU. Again, I'm not going to be running an APU, so all that. So the CPU, motherboard, and RAM are all going to be going. The cooler, I'm going to take it off for now because there's quite a good stock cooler that comes with the CPU that you'll see as we go on. So I'm going to fit the stock cooler for now. And then I'll see if I want to fit the big beefier cooler later on. But I think the stock cooler should be okay for now. Rest of stuff that's staying. Power supply, 500 watt be quiet power supply. That's going to be staying, as is the boot drive, which at the moment is a hard drive. That's going to be eventually changed over to an SSD boot drive, and the hard drive will just become slow storage. But for now I'm going to keep it because I haven't got an SSD yet. I think that's everything to cover in the system. So I'm going to get this out of the way, and I'm going to get all the new components out and set a little test bench up, and we'll get on assembling it, get it all tested, and then we'll move on to moving this into the case. Okay, so I'll see you in a sec. Okay, so I've got all the components that I'm going to be using for testing. Power supply is just here. This is just for testing purposes. I'm not going to be using this on the final build, but it's just one I have lying around spare. For CPU, I've gone with a Ryzen 5 3600. This is the non-X variant, as I didn't need to go that high. I've got a ASUS Prime X570p motherboard. And I've got a kit of Corsair Vengeance DDR4. No RGB or anything on that, because I'm not that bothered. All these were kindly gifted to me as a 21st birthday present. So I've been looking to do this for a while. I haven't really had the ability to get a hold of everything, but some family members sorted that out for me, so I really appreciate that. Alright, so next I'm going to be moving on to unboxing, showing what you get in the box, and then I'll move on to assembly and testing. Okay, see you in a sec. Okay, so first thing to start off with is the motherboard. So I've got the box here. I've already broken the seal at the front, so I don't have to do that on camera. Let's lift it up and spin this round. Let's see what we get included. So you've got the motherboard, obviously, that's in its anti-static packaging. The rest of the accessories here. Okay, so we've got two SATA cables, one with right angle, one with straight. That'll be helpful. I've got more SATA ports in this board than my last one. And the next thing we've got, I think this is an RGB header for one of the headers on board the board. I think it makes a slightly different connector on one end, because it does have, I think it's 2 RGB headers on it, maybe 3. This is for individually adjustable RGBs, I think. So that's fine. I'm not sure if I use that, but I'll just put that to one side for now. And next, just fold that back. So can I just pull that out of the motherboard. Let's put the box down to one side. Put this down on the table. So I'm not taking out any static packaging yet. But as you can see, if I just hold that up. So we've got the, hang on, I can't hold that up, that'll work. So we've got socket there, two PCI Express 16X slots, and a couple of X1 PCI Express slots. So it should be good, so my graphics card can go there and have plenty of expansion. Fan cooled chips there, 4 channels of RAM, and plenty of I/O on there. So we've got plenty of USB, all the generations looks like, USB 2, USB 3, I think USB 3.2, whatever they call it, and the naming's weird. Gigabit Ethernet, and then 3-channel audio. I don't know the full name, I'm not an audiophile. All your standard I/O, SATA ports, and everything there. And then your ATX power connector there, and your CPU power connectors up here. That's CPU. Okay, so let's see what else we got in the box. Got some other bits. There's something else in here. Put that cardboard down there. So we've got, those are the M.2 SSD mounting screws. We've got the plain I/O shields, as you always do. Or the bump, whatever you call it, user guide, warranty, blah blah blah, all that rubbish. Okay, so that's everything you get in that. So I'll put this all back in the box and go on to the next thing. Okay, see you in a sec. Okay, so motherboard's done. Now time to move on to the CPU. So there should be a cooler in here as well. So I've already broken the seal out with the motherboard. So let's just start bit by bit. So the first thing we've got, we're getting a little AMD Ryzen sticker, stick on your case. There's the CPU itself in nice plastic packaging. All the pins on the back there. Right, and the Ryzen sticker to one side. Then we've got bump again, installation instructions, something about a guarantee, blah blah blah. No one reads that. And I've just put the box to one side, we've got a big box here, which is the cooler. Now, the Ryzen chips come with their own cooler, and the stock cooler is actually meant to be really good. And I think it's called the Wraith cooler. Just pop this out of the case there. So there we go. That's quite a nice big beefy fan. A beefy heatsink on the bottom. Well, I need to be careful of that. You've got a thermal pad on the bottom. I shouldn't need to put any thermal compound or anything on this. It should be all ready. I need to be careful of that bit on the bottom. I'll look through the installation instructions to make sure I get that right. Back in the box carefully now. Okay, so what is interesting with the CPU? So I'll just put this to one side. I'll just grab the RAM. I feel like I'm going to regret trying to open this on camera. I will pass this to my camera woman. She'll do this, and we'll be back in a sec. Okay, got the seal open, thanks to the hand of God. So I don't think there's going to be much in here, but doing it for completionness. So slide that out. So we've got two, right way up, two 8GB sticks of Corsair Vengeance. We've got a nice big heatsink on there. It's a DDR4. 3600 megahertz. Let's pop the lid off. Let's see if I can just. Oh, out you come. Okay, let's try this a different way. There we go. Must have come out this time. So there we go. Got a nice big black heatsink on it. Contact pins on the bottom. Just random information on the back. So yeah, it's probably the least interesting of all the others. So, time to get the test bench open. So I'll take my graphics card out on my current PC, get a power supply set up, and we can get on with the testing. Okay, see you in a sec. Okay, so just before setting the test bench up, I need to get my GPU out of the old system. I'm going to leave the rest of the system in here for now, just in case I have problems and I have to go back to using the current system. This is a good idea. So I'm going to be testing everything outside the case, so don't take everything out, put everything in, find a fault, and I'll take it all back out again. So start with taking GPU out. Okay, so that's now out. Like I said, there's no point, even though this most of the stuff is very resilient, try to avoid touching any metal traces or anything on circuit boards as you are going. As you're removing stuff, there's no point putting stuff at risk for no reason. So I've got the box to one side, and I'm just going to put it in its box for now. I'm not going to put it back in the anesthetic bag, as I think I'll be fine. It's in the box just for a little bit. So I'll put the box just to one side. I'm not sure if that's in shot at the moment. It's just off to one side. Put it in there. Like I said, I'll come back and take the rest of the components out once I know the system works. Okay, so I'll be back. Going to get my test bench back in place, and I'm going to start assembling the PC. Right, so I'll see you in a sec. Okay, so back to building the PC. So open the box up as we did before. We'll take the accessories and put everything back on. Take these out, put these to one side for now. Just lift the motherboard out of the box. Nothing in there I'm going to need for now. In fact, I'll just grab paperwork out. So I've got that for later. And I'll grab the I/O chute out. The M2 screws, I'm not going to use them anytime soon, so I can leave them in the box. Okay. Now, recommendation is that everyone, if you can use an anti-static mat for this, but a lot of people do. If I can just get that shut. There we go. A lot of people do when they're building the PC is use the top of the box because it's non-conductive, and that's the most important thing. You need a non-conductive workbench. That you can assemble your components on, because that's more of a worry than it being purely anti-static. Okay, now I've got this. If I just rip open the anti-static packaging, so I can grab something that's like non-circuit board related, and just pull the anti-static back away. And I don't need that, so I'll put that to one side now. And just line that back up. I've got the hand of God advising me it's out of shot. So yeah, yeah, that should be a good shot there. In fact, yeah, I'm just going to spin it round. It's a bit easier for me to put cables and stuff down this side. I said CPU is going to go in there, so that's got this out, so that's out of the box. So I'm going to get all my other components ready, and then I'm going to go to building up the test bench. So I'll see you in a sec. Okay, so I've had a look through all the installation instructions to the CPU. There's something I didn't realise I was going to have to do, because I'm using the AMD cooler that comes with the CPU. I'm going to have to take these 4 screws here out. So I'll put this to one side in case I need it in case I do decide to put my beefier cooler on instead of the one that comes with it, or if I decide to add liquid cooling or something like that in the future. Okay, so grab these, put these to one side. Okay, so going down now. So, got the little CPU here. So the first thing you want to do is lift up this little thing here. It's called the retention arm. Lift it up all the way, and you see that moves the thing backwards. So that allows the pins from the CPU to slot in. Now, the second thing I need to do, I need to look, and you can see, so you probably can't see it on camera. There's a little indent there in the shape of a triangle, and this wants to line up with a similar kind of shape. You probably can't see it on the camera. There's a little golden triangle in the back corner of the CPU, so that wants to line up with a little triangle on there. So what you need to do, you want to grab the CPU, take it by the edges, and then line it up and just place it on. Don't push down on the CPU, don't need to do anything like that. Line it up and check if you won't be able to see it from the side. There should be no gap between the circuit board for the CPU and the actual socket on either side, which there isn't. So now I can push the retention arm down all the way and then lock it in. And there we go. That is the CPU installed. And next thing I'm going to move on to is installing the cooler. So I'll be back in a sec once I've got that out of its box. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is got the cooler. Now this little stuff, just see that on the back there, you can see that gun. As long as that looks intact, you're fine. If you've damaged that, then that's called thermal pad. Now, you want to make sure that's intact and doesn't go getting big scours out or anything like that. And because if it is, it means your thermal performance on the CPU won't be very good. So you need to replace that with some thermal gunk from a tube. And see on mine, that's all fine, apart from the little marks and stuff. Okay, so. Right, well that's not the first time that's happened. Camera died part way through. Brilliant. I'm not going to remount the CPU because thermal grease and stuff will take forever. I didn't realise the camera died. And as it turns out, originally I was going to start mounting it the other way around. One thing you need to make sure when mounting it is that the actual cooler doesn't foul any of the parts of the motherboard. Now there is a little bit of just a minor issue I think with this slot here and the CPU cooler. We should be fine with that. So put it in, you tighten the screws down the crisscross pattern, and this cable here is for the CPU fan. And you want to look at the instructions and find the one on your motherboard labelled CPU fan. It's not very clear on here, but this one, according to the instructions, this one is CPU fan header. That's fan header channel 2. 1 and 3 over here for some reason, so it goes CPU 1, 2, 3. Not sure why it does that. I'm sure there's a good reason. Or there's just decided to be annoying. Anyway, camera problems aside, let's get on with the next thing with the RAM. So I've got my 2 sticks here. Now I checked the instruction manual, and there is actually a little marking on the board tell you. You have effectively like something called 2 channels. So these 2 sticks here, these 2 slots here, they're 1 channel, and these 2 here is another channel. Something like that. You want to have 1 stick per channel, and the recommended ones on top of that is this one here, which is apparently slot B2, and this which is A2. And there's a little piece of text here you might not be able to see on the camera that tells you which all the ones are, and B2 and A2 have got a little star next to them. So I'm going to get my little RAM sticks here, and you'll see there's a little notch just about further than halfway on the stick. And there's also a little notch on here, so you need to make sure that notch lines up with the little notch in here, which means for this one, it needs to be the other way around. So before you put these in, make sure these little clicks are down, and then slide that down like that, and slide it down so it's lined up. That wants to go down there, and then it wants to go a bit down, further down than it is going. There we go. And then it clicks down like that. So I think I need to put in a bit more of an angle. So that's fine, let's do the next one. So I'll try this one, push that down an angle like that. Oh, no, apparently not. Let's line it over there. Very fiddly. There we go, so you push down one side till it clicks, and you push down the other side and a little catch should come up. Let's check they're nice and secure, the catches up. May as well push these up for now. Ooh, a little bit of hair. There we go, that's got the hair gone with it. Okay, so is there another hair? Hand of God's appearing. Ah yes there is. Ooh. There we go, it's either mine or one of the cat. There we go, so thanks Hand of God. Okay, so that's the RAM installed. Next thing to do is going to be I'm going to get the power supply out, I'm going to hook that up, and then I'll install the GPU, and I'll get a monitor hooked up and we'll get it tested. So back in a sec once I've got everything. Okay, so I've got my monitor down there, got my power supply up, we've got the keyboard, and I've got my graphics card, so ready to assemble the system onto the 10th bench. So the first thing I'm going to do is going to grab the graphics card. Just down here, just taking out the box ready. What I'll do is I'm going to line it up with this first 16X slot here. Line that up the slot, make sure it's nice and clear. And I'm just going to push down gently, and it's now clicked in. If you had a proper test bench, you'd mount it at this point, but it's only going to be on here for a very, very short amount of time. Okay, so now the GPU is installed. The next bit is going to be connected to the power supply. And I'm going to do this off camera, and then once I've come back, I will show you what connected to what. Okay, so back in a sec. Okay, so I've connected the ATX power cable to the motherboard there, connected to the CPU 12 volt power connector here, and I've connected the auxiliary power for the graphics card there. The rest of the cables don't really matter because they're all just hard drive cables in this power supply. Okay, so the next thing to do is going to be connect the monitor and the keyboard up. So I've got the monitor here, and this has just got an HDMI to VGA adapter on it. I'm just going to plug the HDMI into the HDMI port on my graphics card. I'm going to grab my keyboard here. which I probably should have unwound the cable ahead of time. And I'm going to plug that into one of these USB 2 keyboard ports on the motherboard. If I can put that in. Come on. There we go. That's plugged in there. Okay, so that's everything I need connected to power up the system. So I've got the power supply plugged in. Turn it on. Aha! Now you may just be able to see it. There's a little glow coming from underneath the little white chipset there. Can hand of God confirm? Can you see the glow? See, under the chipset core, there's a glow there. So that's the built-in LEDs, and I'll find out as I go on if I can control them, or they might just glow purple the whole time. That's not the end of the world if that's the case. Okay, so now everything's connected up. The next job is going to be to set up the power switch. Now, I will be back in a second once I figured out exactly which pins I need to connect together to power up the system. Okay, so back in 1 sec. Okay, so one thing I have done is I've grabbed the speaker from the case and connected that to the speaker connection so I'll be able to hear. And now, since we haven't got in the case, I should be able to use a screwdriver to short the power switch button to ground. So I've got a little screwdriver here. And there we go. So we've got fan starting on the GPU, fan starting on the CPU. I've just got to wait. Are we going to get a beep? Just a waiting game now. I heard one beep and we've got a post. We've got a screen. Okay, so going from editing here, all I'm doing here is just checking to the BIOS settings and checking everything detected. I just thought I'd speed it up for you guys because it's 2.5 minutes long, the original clip. Okay, so I'm going to start moving, get the old case out, take all the old parts out of it and replace it with these new parts. So I'll see you in a second once I've got it all set up. So, next now I've tested all the existing hardware. That all works fine. Well, the new hardware, I mean, not the existing. The next job is to remove the existing hardware from the case. Now, to stop me having to have to watch through a really long video of me just undoing screws, pulling out cables and stuff like that, I'm just going to do a time lapse of it instead. So I will see you once I've got all this out. Okay, see you in a sec. Okay, so that's the motherboard out of the case. I've got some screws to move around here. The motherboard stand-ups need moving around. I'm going to give the case a general clean. Then I'll look at mounting the new motherboard. So I'll see you in a sec. Okay, so I've moved some mountings around in the case, moved some wires out of the way, just basically to try and neat it up in the area around where we're putting the motherboard in. I've also installed the I/O shield, taken out the old one and put in the new one. It's installed the motherboard. Just grab it by the cooler and you bring it in, and you have to, this is a bit of a small case, you lower it in, line it up with the I/O shield. And oh, some cables in the way still. There we go. All the way in. There we go. So that's now fitted in. So you lower it into the case and then push it towards the I/O shield. And yeah, all the bars lined up. So I'm just going to get all those tightened up, and there'll be another time lapse, so I will speak to you in a sec. Okay, so that's all the motherboard screws installed. I'm now going to move on to installing all the cables. I'm going to do a majority of that off camera, because it's not going to be the most interesting thing to watch. So I will be back in a sec once I've installed all the main power cables. Okay, so I've now got all the power cables in, and I've also taken the liberty to install the fan control cables. I used to have a fan controller in here because the old motherboard didn't have much fan control at all, but I've taken it out and I'm now using the onboard fan control for the motherboard. I've run the primary data cables. I do need to do some cable management stuff, but I'm going to get the GPU and check it all works, get all the drivers installed, and then I'll go back and do the cable management later. So get the GPU. I've already got it out of the box ready. One thing I have had to do is I've had to move these little blanking plates here because the GPU used to be in these two sockets, but that's where this top expansion slot is now. So now I need to go one expansion slot down, so I had to budge this plate here to there. The last step is to plug in the 6-pin power external power connector. Okay. Right. Next, I'm going to get the PC up on its side, connect it up to my monitor, connect the power up, and see if we're still okay with booting. So I'll see you in a sec. Okay, so I've got the PC connected up to the power supply. I've got it connected up to the monitor, and I've got keyboard and mouse plugged in as well. So now, just turn the power supply on. Just check. Yeah, so we've got a glow there from the chipset cooler. The lights come on the graphics card, so that's powered up correctly. So now, I just press the power button, the keyboard ready. One thing to keep in mind that I looked up beforehand, if you're changing to a Ryzen chipset from any other AMD chip, you will want to make sure you disable or uninstall AMD Overdrive. If you leave this installed and it tries to boot on a Ryzen CPU, you'll get Windows blue screen of death. Okay, so we're into Windows desktop now. So that's all booted up properly. Don't seem to have any errors, not getting any random crashes, so that's all good. So next thing to do, I'm going to shut down the system, get all the cable management sorted because it's not neatest at the moment, and then I'll get on to installing drivers and I'll show you how to do that. All that comes with the motherboard, thankfully. Okay, so I'll see you once that cable management's all done and we'll get on to drivers. Okay, so the PC is now booted into Windows. The next step is to go through and install all the drivers for the motherboard. The easiest way to do this, especially if it's fresh in I can use system, would be to use the install disk that comes with the motherboard. I'm just going to load that into the CD tray. If you don't have a CD tray, you could always download them. If you had another laptop, download another laptop from ASUS's website, put them onto a memory stick, and then load them in that way. But because I want a disk, I'm going to use that. So you hit to load it in, pop up hit run, you click yes. If you haven't got an admin, if you're not on the admin account, you have to approve it. So once it loads it, we can get driver. Now I have actually already installed all these drivers because unfortunately, first time I tried to install them, I lost footage. It will require you to do multiple restarts. You may need to reload the software. I'd advise, just my personal recommendation, don't install Norton. It's just don't. It's not. There's plenty of information on the internet how it's not great. You have the option for RAID control and stuff, which you could use if you wanted to. I'm not going to, so all these have been updated. Next thing to do would be to install utilities. So I'm going to install this ASUS AI Suite 3. As I can't see any reason why not to. So to install any software, you can just open the thing, open the window, so tick the option, then click install. So this says it's telling me I will need it's saying that, but saying it again. You will need to do a reboot, and that's fine, as long as you don't mind computer being rebooted afterwards. I'm going to click yes on that, and upload a progress bar. When it finishes installing, it will then reboot your computer. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, so after that, you're pretty much all set up. So that's all I can think of really with this. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you found it useful. If you have any questions, feel free to comment in the comments down below. Maybe put some links down to the stuff I've used. I didn't buy it, so I don't know exactly where it came from. I maybe find some links to the items, put them in the description for you. If you have any questions, please feel free to as I said, put down comments down below. Try and answer as many as I can. Thank you very much for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe to the video. I'm going to be doing a lot more of my normal railway sort of style videos after this. I've got quite a few videos in the pipeline, mainly videos of places I've been or projects I've recorded and just not got time to edit it because I've had, as I think I said at the beginning of the video, I've had college, uni, work. Since my last video on my railway, I've gone through and completed a 3-year apprenticeship in electrical engineering. So that's taken a lot of time. I've moved twice. So yeah, whole new layout, whole new board now. I'm hoping to do plenty of videos of them. Now my university degree is now almost over with. So hope to see you in the next video. Thank you very much for watching again. CCLI Guy 2012.